Let me change the settings. Uh, okay, let's wait. Okay, guys, the concept is little important. Okay, RBAC process. Okay, I could see. I think few people already completed EFK stack also. But in the EFK stack, the only the pending concepts are RBAC concepts. Okay, remaining all already we discuss in today class. So we can focus on RBAC. So have you joined the workshop yesterday's? Okay. Let's connect the client server. Okay. So guys, for example, so your end, one cluster is running. Okay, I'm taking just one cluster is running. Okay. So this cluster we have to focus. No, this cluster created by one user, for example. Okay. Let's say I'm taking here one user. Let's say, okay, one user created a cluster in your team member. So here this user this user login into user credentials, for example, or root credentials. So two things we have to understand here. Whether configure the credentials, access key, secret key, and created a cluster, or attached IAM role inside the EC2, created a cluster. Clear now? We have a two ways. Okay. Let's take AWS EC2 instance. Okay. So from this server, I have login and created a cluster. This server attached IAM role. Clear now? So now this role is authenticated this cluster now. For example, now this cluster created. For example, in interview, they may ask one question. So you are two colleagues. So let's take a for example. So two developers are there. Let's take here an example. So the one who created a cluster, this person. Now I want to give this cluster access to this person. How to give is the point. So usually most of the students can say, I can give this user administrator access for the cluster. But it's a wrong, guys. Administrator access only work to manage the cluster. Either create, delete, modify cluster node groups, modify cluster instance types and all. But my requirement is I want to control the cluster inside activities. My and four workspaces are there. You know how dangerous is workspace? If you delete a workspace, everything will be deleted. Clear na? Within seconds, all applications will be deleted. Just one command. In this case, definitely we have to secure the cluster, right? In terms of access. This is one of the interview question recently asked. So kubectl, delete ns, give the ns. Everything will be deleted, right? How you can protect that? How you can enable a security? So that's what we are not supposed to give complete access to everyone, first of all. When I say access means not IAM level access, cluster inside access. Okay. IAM only the responsibility for what? Cluster level permissions only. Modify, delete, something. But inside namespace, I have a two namespaces are there. Dev namespace, test namespace. I want to give only dev namespace access to him. IAM will help here. No, it's inside activities. Even Linux inside also we can create a users. User A, user B. IAM is not help for user A and user B. This is Linux inside activities. But IAM is only help for that instance can manage, delete or create or modify level only. Once you log in a server, IAM is not responsible. Once you instance access permission is there na. Once instance you have login, inside multiple users are there, multiple permissions are. This is for stick to this server only, not for IAM level. Same process here also. IAM permissions only works cluster level, not inside activities. Namespace permissions, specific pod access, specific node access. It's not possible by IAM to control everything, right? But immediately when this question asked, most of the students can say, I can give administrator access. This is not correct process to say an interview. Okay. So yeah, even if I give administrator access also to him, he is unable to access the cluster. Understand? So there is a auth configuration file is there, authorization configuration file is there. This authorization file updated by this role while creating a cluster. Now, if you, for example, a simple logic, you tell me from this server, I'm able to run kubectl get nodes command, right? If I create a fresh server, am I able to run the same command? If I install kubectl, let me run. I'm creating a test server. So select existing secret group. Anything you can select. Okay. So launch a server. So this server inside, if I install kubectl packages to run a kubectl command, so definitely this server unable to access kubectl get pods. Kubectl able to run, but you will get a permission issues. Okay. So this instance, maybe you can give administrator access. Still this server unable to connect, unable to run the commands. For example, connect. Okay. Sudo su hyphen. When you run a kubectl command, first it will get an error. Kubectl command not found. So let's move to a kubectl installation process. Let me install. Now kubectl get nodes refused. So we know the command, right? Let's go to EKS now. Go to the cluster. Okay, Vira EKS. US East 1. See, you unable to update the config file also. So either you can log in credentials or attach IAM role. What I can do, I can create IAM role now. So EC2. Next, I'm giving administrator access EC2 to EKS. Sorry. Permission already given, right? Let's move to next ECT to EKS. Create a role. Clear na? Let's go to the instance, your test server. So not this one. Yeah, test server, you can attach this to a role. Security, modify IAM role. So I'm giving here ECT to EKS. Okay. So let's go to now test server. You can run a same command. So add a new context. Okay. Now kubectl. Clear na? See, not allowing. Why? No. See, as our point of view, given a role administrator access, right? But get nodes request will go to where? EKS inside the control plane. By default, EKS, cluster permissions will get who create a cluster only. Clear na? How this will be attached to the permissions, either role or access key secret key. While creating a cluster, for example, the user login access key secret key created a cluster. So user details will be added inside the auth configuration file. Same user keys, if you use only, you are able to access the cluster. Or if you can attach IAM role, same IAM role you can attach to the server only, it will be access. This is for just user point of view. Now, if you want to give access to someone access, what we can do? The auth configuration file you can open, add the one more user information into over there, or add the one more role into over there. Clear na? This is important now. Very important this is. Okay. Let's go to Vira server. So this server, from this server only I created a cluster. At the time I'm using Google full, some IAM role I have attached. Okay. Let's go to now instances. This is the test server, right? Go to security. I'm getting or not now? Clear na what I'm trying to say? See, even if you give administrator access also, not possible to access the nodes. The reason it's inside activity. But when I use the same role which I used to create a cluster, that role if I attach to any server, able to access or not? Clear na? So here is the point we have to understand. Many students can say simple administrator access is able to access. No. kubectl get nodes command should go to where? API server first. API server is not AWS service. AWS IAM consider under service. So we have to give the Kubernetes permissions. Clear now? So now why is a simple logic understand? So here Google full access IAM role is accepting, but administrator is not accepting. Here point is not administrator access or Google access. This cluster created by when I attached this IAM role only the cluster created. So this IAM role get a full permissions for the cluster. Clear na? Or instead of IAM role, I can create a cluster by configuring the AWS configure command also without IAM role, right? AWS configure access key secret key, then create a cluster. So cluster inside auth configuration file inside access key secret key will be stored. This user only can log in the cluster. This user only can request and accept. Clear na? At that time, if you want to give access to someone, simply if you can share your access key secret key, they can able to access. Clear or not? Or inside server, inside AWS, if they want access, if you simply give the IAM role, if they attach IAM role to their server, they can also able to access. But this is not recommended, right? Simple if you give access, simple Linux command, no, kubectl CLI command. For ChatGPT, it's giving kubectl delete namespace. If someone can delete, what happens? Enter, everything will be deleted, right or not? So this is not recommended first. Anyway, Argo CD is there. Immediately you can run. But downtime is downtime or not? Backup are there, AMLs are there, everything is there. You can run again, but everything application will be down. If anyone done manual configuration inside the something, that will gone, right or not? So in this case, we are not supposed to give full access to anyone. Clear na? Yeah. So who can manage the Kubernetes administrator role? He can only take care of everything, not for everyone. Clear na? Yeah. So till here clear everyone no? The differences is okay. So in this case, I can give only namespace access. I can give only pod access. I can give only node access. I can give only specific pod access. I can control many things now. Clear or not? Okay. So now test server also having a full access. Clear or not? Test server also having a full access. Okay. Ignore it till here. Let's move to now the actual server Vira who created a cluster. Okay. Let's move to so there is a concept here. RBAC process, role-based access control. Based on role-based access control means not IAM role, Kubernetes role-based access control. Okay. So role-based access control, who can do what in your cluster is the point. Okay. Okay. We have a two type of role concepts in Kubernetes: normal role, cluster role. Clear na? See, normal role and cluster role. So here guys, just normal role allows for a specific namespace only. Let me write here. There is a concepts in role binding, RBAC. So role-based access control. So we can give, you can add this, who can access the cluster, who can access the cluster, how to control and all, we can take care. So in this case, we can create a two type of roles in Kubernetes, guys. Roles concept. So you can create two type of roles, role and cluster role. Quite complex, guys. Please focus. So if you want to give access to someone who can ask the request to you to access the cluster, for example, he need multiple namespaces, complete cluster level permissions. So we can go for cluster role. We can give for multiple namespaces. This is for specific namespace. Okay. Okay, yes. So for example, yeah, you can see. First, we have to create a role. I'm going to give a specific, I'm going to give only pod access. I'm going to give only node access for inside the seat default namespace. So default namespace means it's a stick to specific namespace, right? Which type of role? Normal role. Kind is normal role. If you want to give complete cluster level permission, see, cluster role, you no need to specify any namespace. It will apply for complete cluster level. Okay. Let's move to here. You can see here. Let's talk about role only. You can see here, I'm giving a permissions to this role. What role name is what? Developer. Role name is developer role. I'm giving which permissions here? If I attach this role, which permissions I'm giving? See, API groups indicates, see here, resources what? Get list config map, get list pods, get list deployment. Only three permissions I'm giving now to this role. If I attach this role to any user, okay, user can log in and user can perform these operations only. How to give this role access to user? Role bind concept. Role binding to user, role binding to group, like that. Clear na guys? Same like IAM role concept, guys. Create a role, give a permissions, attach to user, same. But this is Kubernetes role concept, not IAM role concept. Clear na? Okay. So guys, what I'm going to do now, let's understand test server already created, right? I'm going to go to security, modify role. I'm going to detach IAM role. Oh, sorry. Let's go to the test server, which I created now. So far, the test server able to access complete actions, right? Now, detach. Okay, clear now. So definitely now this server unable to go to test server, which I created. Let's run kubectl get nodes. So not possible to access. Clear not till here now? Okay. Now, for example, let's take, okay, Kiran. So Kiran is requested me to give access. Okay. Let's go to here. Yeah. Okay. So this cluster, now Kiran is asking request to, let's talk about default namespace only now. Okay. So this is normal role, not cluster role. So I'm talking about default namespace. Okay. Now Kiran is asking, give get pod permissions, get nodes permission, get config permissions. Now root user, who created a cluster? Root user means who created a cluster. Okay. Preparing a role for to give access to Kiran. Clear now? So Kiran also is the employee for your project. Is a your colleague only, right? So Kiran also having AWS access, right? Let's create a Kiran AWS credentials first now. Access key secret key for the Kiran. Okay. Let's move to IAM user. Definitely in your organization, in your project, if 4 people are working for one project, 4 users are exist here. So I'm creating a Kiran user also. Okay. Next, attach policies directly. Administered access. Guys, if I give administered access to Kiran, Kiran able to delete a cluster, definitely. But Kiran unable to access kubectl command. That is for cluster inside activities. Okay. Even this is also not recommended by giving administrator access. Okay. Okay. So now generate a credentials for the Kiran in access key, secret key, or anything is fine. You can generate a normal CLI also fine. Okay. So let's create a, you can see here. Yeah. So now you can see here, you can create a IAM user and EKS cluster permissions or administrator permissions and run the configure the access key secret key like this only. So for that purpose, I'm generating a access key secret key for Kiran. Okay. Let's add access key here. Next, secret key also. Clear na guys? Access key secret key created for Kiran. Okay. Till here clear right now? Okay. So now the intention is this role which I'm creating now, I can attach to user also. I can attach to if any group is there. Users are there in the same group. You can attach to group also. For this purpose, we have to create a one more ML role binding. Binding on user, binding on role. Clear na? Or group. Let's move to here. So, I mean, I haven't applied this, just I'm explaining theoretically first. Okay. So now you can see, okay, going to the role binding now. Okay. So the role binding is what we can apply this role to specific user or specific group. Okay. Let's go to now. Yeah, role binding. This is a different one, cluster role binding and normal role binding. Yeah. So you can take a role binding is assign a role to specific user or specific group. Okay. Yeah. Copy. Let's take now here. So this is a role. And now this is a role binding. Kind is role binding. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now you can see my role reference adding into role binding or not. See. Clear or not? My role reference is what here? Developer role. Added or not? Okay. Now this role binding group is there now. This is we are going to mention into where the auth configuration file insert we are adding user and this developer group. So user can able to access this developer group. Developer group is part of this role binding and able to access also. Fine. Clear now? Okay. Role binding is clear now? Okay. Let's move to, I'll explain one more time, multiple times. No need to worry. Okay. Role binding also done. Next, this is the very important thing now. Auth configuration file. Here only the main point. So this configuration is important now. So I'm going to add users, right? User information. Which user? Kiran user information adding into the auth configuration file inside. Hey Kubernetes, you can allow Kiran also. Which permissions? This group permissions. This group where I have added here. Clear na? Okay, let's add here. Clear now? So user get which permissions? Group permissions. Group is part of one role attached already. Clear now? Now tell me. Now, if same permissions required for one more user, do I need to create a role? No. What I can do? Simply add user only here and use developer group. This group already having a same permissions. Clear now? If second user required same permissions, what we can do? Clear now? Add one more user. So still using same group, this user also. So what we are doing, adding a user into same group having a same role permissions. Clear everyone what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Okay. If different permissions, definitely we have to give different roles and we can add. Okay. Let's move to now. We can discuss this concept practically now. Okay. Not this test instance. So here. Okay. So first what I need to create a role. So I can create a role.aml. This is for specific namespace only. Okay. Default namespace. You can see here I'm giving a default namespace. Why? This is normal role. If it is a cluster role, I can give all namespaces. You no need to mention this will apply for all the roles. Okay, let's take this. Copy. kubectl apply -f role.aml. Okay, just role only created, permissions only assigned, but permissions only defined, not assigned to any role binding. Next, what I can do? Binding to role binding AML. So here, okay. Copy. Same role giving, right? Here. Clear na? Role is created, role binding is created. Now role binding is part of one group already there, right? If I add that group and user into auth configuration file, let's see how user able to access or not. Okay. So we have to go to config map, AWS auth configuration file inside the kube system. Okay, this is we are going to edit now. Copy. Clear na? See now, role ARN already attached, right? Let's go to now user information. This is carefully we have to do modification. That's what I have added already for reference. This is role purpose, right? Already there. We have to add here user information. Simple. So username is what here? Kiran. Clear na? So now go to user. Oh, already not done na. Can I take Aaron for the here? Aaron copy. Excuse me. So I'm taking here user Aaron. Clear na? So this is user Aaron and username and groups. Something we are giving like, okay. Sorry, we are giving a developer group, right? So we have to change again. We can add here. Let's wait. Okay. So what is the meaning of this now? Oh, wrong. What is the meaning of this now? I'm adding Kiran user into developers group. Developer group already having a role permissions. So let's try. I'm going to add a map users copy. So carefully you have to do this. Here only I can give enter, right? Insert. Clear na? Okay. If you do any mistake, it will not allow to save the file. If an indentation issue also there. So till here clear na? So Kiran information added into auth configuration file. Now what I can do? So go to test server now. Can I configure Kiran access ke secret ki here? AWS configure. So I'm checking here. Access key of Kiran. Clear na? Now you can, so here you can see there is no role attached to test server. I have already detached, right? I'm testing user level permissions. Now can I run this update command again? Updated. Can I run now kubectl? Get nodes. See the error now? Read the error. Node is forbidden. User Kiran cannot list the resources of node. We have given what permissions to Kiran? What administrator access? We have given config map pod deployment only. Clear na? So in this case, kubectl get pods. This is error? No. Is this error? I'm saying this is not error. No pods are existed. Is saying right or not? Kubectl get cm config map. Capital C, config map. What is the command exactly? Config map. Yeah, CM should work, right? Okay, maybe we have to mention namespace explicitly here. No need. This is correct only. Okay, maybe this is wrong. Instead, I have given capital C, capital M, right? Understand? Here we have to give small c, small m. Wrongly given here. Clear or not? See, pods given correct. PODA small, but here wrongly given. Clear now what I'm trying to say? That's what it is not working. Understand the process now? Okay. What I'm going to do now? Vi pod.ml. Let's go to yeah. Let's take small pod I'm going to deploy. Tomorrow also same concept, guys. Continuation process. kubectl apply -f. What does this show? I have given only get and list, not apply, right? That's what Kiran unable to apply pod.ml also. Clear everything till here? Any questions from anyone? Online or offline? Any questions? Now, if I want to modify any permissions, where I can go? Where I need to modify the changes? No. Permissions. Yeah, more permissions if I want as and where should I go? Role. No need to touch auth configuration file. No need to touch role binding also. Go to simply open a role. Give the what permission you want to give. That will get to Kiran. Clear now? So for example, if I want to add nodes, can I give node permission also here? Let's give the node permissions. Node small, node get permission also. So you can write simple here. API group apps get list node also. Clear na? You can add like this also. Understand the difference now? See, node access, it's a cluster across, right? Across namespace, right? Nodes are not stick on one namespace, right? Which type of role I should create? Cluster role. Understand now? That's what ChatGPT is giving here. Create a cluster role only. Nodes are not stick to specific namespace. That's what normal role not support, even if you can give also. Cluster role, if you can give, see, you can bind and you can, I'll explain the different service account process later. Like this, we can add. So if you want to give cluster administrator access, also you can give. For example, I'm going to create this role now. Clear na? This role, see, this is which type of role? Administrator access means not stick on to specific namespace, right? So if you can take this, copy. I'm creating a one more role, not test. Test don't have permission to create a role also, right? Go to where? Veera here, this server. I'm creating a one more role. Role admin.ml. Clear na? kubectl apply -f admin role created. Let's go to add a role binding also. VA R binding admin.aml. kubectl apply -f role binding R binding. Now you can see here this role and role binding again communicating. The role name is what? Cluster admin custom. See, cluster admin custom. Right, role binding inside we are adding this role to attach to this group. Which group? Admin team group. Clear now? Admin team group. Okay. So role is created, role binding is created. Next is what? Yes, I can create a auth configuration. So you can add a user again. So what changes I need to do here? User Kiran, user information I can give, username I can give. You can add this user into auth configuration file inside. Let me add. Already Kiran user exists, right? I can add a one more system masters here. Clear now? Let's go to So this user I can add here. System master. I'm giving this. That's it. Careful, this is. Clear now? Kiran. Done. Let's go to Kiran now. kubectl get nodes we can try. Clear na? Administrative permission we have. So role, cluster role. Can I add role? For example, users adding that into the auth configuration file. Can I add role also? Role information, role name, role ARN group, right or not? I mean, there is a different role. I want to add those role into your auth configuration file inside. Different role attached to my instance. I want to work with this role only, not for different role. In this case, what I can do? Not here. Can I add a role information also? Map roles, same like map roles, role ARN, which group you want to add the role. So any role also we can add, any user also you can add. Getting now how to work with role and role binding? So permissions and all you can check it from the ChatGPT. You can give. See, role level permissions I want to give, for example, apply permissions. You can give apply, write permission to pod. Write means apply, delete, anything like this we can give. But so far we are giving only get. So we can give. So complete cluster level means node permissions are work for cluster role binding, not for cluster role, not for normal role. Nodes are not specific on specific namespace. Any questions? You can modify anytime. You no need to touch role binding. See, for example, IAM role is there. Leave it for this concept. IAM role is there. Already attached to EC2. IAM role having a few permissions. Later you can add any permission, right? You no need to detach IAM role from the any group, no need to detach IAM role from the any instance, right? Anytime you can add permissions. When we can add, if any new user will come, you can add. Okay, you're talking about IAM role, no? Yeah, we can get IAM role. The role you can take ARN and add into the auth configuration file inside. The role, whatever permissions are there, the role permissions are what? IAM role permissions are what? Cluster level. But here role permissions are what? Cluster inside activities. Role binding is not stick to any user or role unless you can add the auth configuration file inside, right? Same group you can add for role also. Add a IAM role, map role ARN, give the same group, developer group. So whatever developer group having a permissions, those permissions apply for your IAM role, whatever you are added into the auth configuration file. What I'm saying now? Now, so before I use groups is what developer group, right? If you keep like this, you can remove user ARN, user name, add a role also. The role will get a group permission, group having a role permissions. Here. These two common if you can use a user or IAM role. Here only it will change. In place of user ARN, you can use IAM role ARN also. Any questions from anyone? These are the permissions. So you can add anything. For example, see now here, you can see this role, example 2. So this is example 1. Now you can see here, pod level, get, list, create, update, patch, except delete. So now definitely user can create a pod also, right or not? So these permissions you can explore whatever permission you want to give. I'm saying. So like that we can give a different permissions. First we have to understand giving permissions are works role level or cluster role level. Role level means namespace under it will come definitely. Can I give different namespace access? You can change here. In place of default, you can give dev namespace. Dev namespace inside only user can able to get it. Kubectl apply command also same dev namespace inside only he can able to apply. Clear now? There are chances to ask entry question if they want to ask little bit, some difficult questions. They may touch this area. So like this, you can add, copy. So VA ls role dot admin already having a full permissions, right? We no need to worry about that. So here I'm adding only get list only there, right? I can add a create. So create. Let's take here. Clear now? So like this, kubectl, apply IFNF. So don't forget to apply after that, okay? And now role binding, no need to change anything. Directly go to auth configuration file inside. Here I need to change the group permission, right? Developer group is. You can add one more user also, no problem. I'm just modifying existing role. You can keep this, you can add, but there is no, meaning, right? Already administrator access also, they're creating one more thing. Developer. I'm just checking here. DEVLOPR. I have given, yeah, same only. Correct only, right? Correct only, right? So you can see I have given my role binding is for developer. Okay, already role binding already working, right? I haven't deleted. Two role bindings are there. One is for cluster role binding, one is for normal role binding. So this is also working and this is also working. This is applies for admin level. Sorry, this is applies for group level developer. This is applies for cluster role admin level. So now let's go to Kiran test Kiran user where Kiran has login. Kubectl apply IFNF pod. Created or not? No. Why? Pod permissions I have given. Kubectl get pods. Kubectl delete pod my app. No permissions for delete. Only given create. Clear na concept is very important concept. Any questions from anyone? So one more concept is pending is service account concept. That is also very important. Now tell me, Kiran user is there now. If Kiran user permissions are there, na Kiran user permissions, IAM level permissions. What I'm trying to say. This permissions. If I remove, right? Tell me, Kiran able to access or not still? Okay. So go to Kiran now. So Kiran, is there any permissions? Is there any permissions for Kiran? Okay. Let's go to where Kiran has login. So AWS configure list. Okay. US Eastern access ki credentials are stored. Is there any role attached to instance? Let's check one more time. Okay. Let's remove. Kiran server only, right? This is, yeah. Let's remove security. Modify AML. Already detached, right? Then why did attached again? Okay, this is wrong. Refresh once. Yes, is it possible to join tomorrow 9 a.m.? I have some appointment, doctor appointment, 10. Is it possible? Online team, 9 a.m. to 10:30. Only tomorrow only. So I have work at 11 instead of cancel the class. Just 1 hour before only. So please, thanks for that understanding. So please join 9 a.m. tomorrow. We can come 9, 9, 10 around, no problem. I'll close at 10, 20 around. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Okay, let's refresh this server. What happened to this server now? See, no IAM role. Okay. It's showing, some cache kind of problem. Okay, now go to IAM. So, okay, no role attached. Go to permissions. No permissions also. No permissions also, right? Let's go to now. So cancel this and go to test server. No role required. Let's connect to now a server. Okay. Okay. So AWS, okay, configure list. Keys already configured, right? So kubectl get nodes. Nodes permission is not there. Anyway, I have again updated, right? Kubectl get pods. Able to get or not? Yes, we are interacting with the Kubernetes API. But I want to modify my cluster. Is it possible now? EKS update command. Is it work now? No, the reason these are cluster level activities. Getting or not? For example, my end cluster I want to modify to 3 nodes, not 2 nodes. Is it possible to CLI? Request will go to first EKS level permissions, right? EKS level permissions required, EKS permissions. But I'm directly interacting the control plane. Kubernetes control plane, understand or not? So control plane API. So for example, if you want to interact with the RDS API, RDS database API, you are giving DNS host name, backend application inside API, we are giving ready API endpoint. We don't need any permissions for RDS at that time. Backend can communicate directly RDS API. We are not giving any RDS full permissions also. Understand or not? But if you want to call RDS tags, RDS instance type you want to change. RDS something if you want to cluster level, if you want to do any required changes, we need again RDS permissions. Clear? Getting what I'm trying to say. For example, Route 53 is there. Route 53 load balancer communication in IAM role required. No, it's a Route 53 API we're interacting. So not required. Clear now? So any questions from anyone? So please today practice this. Little important this is. Very, very important. No doubt it is. Now you can see I'm giving directly. So far I'm giving groups right here. Group name, developer, something, right? You can directly attach to user. Role binding. See, whatever auth configuration file is there now, directly attached to user also. So in this case, role binding inside, you need to add what? Not groups. User information we have to add. Like this also we can do. For example, But this is not a good practice anyway. We have to add for group level only. We can easily manage. If you add users, it will stick to specific user only, right or not? Role with admin access, custom permissions, these are. So I have given everything, custom permission. Yeah, now this see here. Yeah, this is service account. Okay, we'll discuss tomorrow. Service account is important. Role with admin access. This is different one. Now you can see here, I'm giving a role errand, right? Role errand and username. So user, this is wrong again. Why I'm adding here? Okay, let me modify this ones. Okay. Cluster. Okay. So here we can give this namespace. Now tell me, with this role, user able to delete namespace? No. But we can add here API groups, apps, resources, namespace, verbs here, get list for the namespace. Clear what I'm trying to say? So we can add here Control V. So here we can give in place of deployment, which resource it is? Namespace. Now only namespace, get list only, not delete. So here, if I'm not mentioning anything, it's a block only, right? Access. Whatever permissions you are giving, these permissions only user can access. Remaining are block. Clear na? So in real time, these permissions, administrative access only keep with one person only. You are managing the cluster and all. Remaining and all, they are creating a users and adding a roles, role bindings, and attached to user into auth configuration file. This is the process, how it works. Same like IAM only, no much difference here. Any questions from anyone now? Role and role binding, cluster role and something. I want to delete a cluster, complete cluster. Kubernetes role will help or not? Delete cluster, not Kubernetes role. IAM role, IAM permissions, right or not? It's not related for Kubernetes inactivities. It's a cluster activities, EKS activities. EKS delete means user should have a EKS delete permission. If you give user EKS full permission, user able to delete EKS or EKS delete permission. Custom permissions, if you create a custom policies IAM, delete permission if you can give to user able to delete EKS also. Clear now? That's what the difference, cluster level and IAM cluster level and role level. These three you have to understand. Any questions from anyone? So if you before creating a cluster, if you configure your access key secret key, and if you create a cluster, the cluster point of you are the admin. Your access key secret key already, it will be stored into auth configuration file instead of role. Now, whatever users you are adding a 1, 2, 3, 4, there are additional permissions and all. Now, simple question to you. User able to add one more user? Kiran able to add one more user or not? When Kiran able to add one more user? If auth configuration file complete permissions, if you give to Kiran able to add one more another person, right or not? So Kiran and this is unable to open now. Clear or not? So Kiran itself able to assign any permissions? No. Why? If Kiran, see, same command, yeah, you can see. For example, yeah, if you give kube system inside edit AWS auth configuration file, Kiran unable to edit now. to give any permissions. Clear or not? Don't have permissions to even add a full permissions, add a full, delete a permissions also. kubectl get role. See, even role inside permissions also Kiran unable to do. Role we have given 3 permissions, right? Get role permission is not there, right? To Kiran to give a permissions. Get role binding also. Yeah, unless you can give, Kiran unable to check even role binding permissions also. So no permissions. Clear now? The question is, Kiran itself can able to give SN any permissions? No. Whatever permissions given by admin, Kiran can able to access those only. Even Kiran unable to do any other activities, apart these 3. Yes. So concept is important, guys. Please focus. That's what multiple times I'm saying this is. Okay. See, these notes already I shared, right? You can open and you can try today. Let me know if you are facing any issues tomorrow. So tomorrow I will show service account. Very important. Now tell me, if I log in a pod, carefully observe. This is also one of the entry question. If I log in a pod, inside the pod, if I run AWS S3 LS, pod able to access S3 bucket or not? Leave it for this RBAC concept. Completely leave it. My question is, pod, once pod created, pod inside if I log in, so AWS CLI have installed, okay, and keys also have configured, for example. Now, if I give AWS S3 LS command, pod can able to access or not? Simple logic. Same concept we already done for where? EBS concept time. Your pod is communicating EBS or not? When it is possible? We given permission where? Which role? Node group role. Node group role having, we have given a permissions, administrator access, right or not? We have given node group level role, we have given a administrator permissions. So request will go to node having a node group full permissions, it is going to communicate AWS S3 LS. Clear na? So now simple question to you. Why service account concept we have to discuss, I'm saying here now. Node group level, if you give a permissions, S3, every pod can communicate S3 or not? Right or not? Same node inside multiple pods are there. Every pod can communicate S3. But I don't want like that. Specific pod should communicate S3. Then node level restrictions, we are not supposed to allow node level restrictions. That will enable or disable for every pod. So pod level also we can create a specific endpoint to connect directly S3. Same like a VPC endpoint concept is there. Na? That pod only can connect to S3 bucket. Like that concept. This is last concept for the RBAC. Important concept, very, very important concept. In interviews, my experience, I'm saying if you are keeping a 4, 5, 3 years experience, definitely today class or tomorrow class, one interview question, damn sure. If they want to ask little difficult concepts. Okay. Schedules, this concept, and 100% interview question, architecture. Definitely one component they can ask, most of the chances. They may ask one component, explain cubes, explain anything, any component, explain about the scheduler, how it will work. So you have to explain in detail. What are the issues have you faced any issues for the schedulers? You can say we have created our own schedules by giving a schedules concept, node node selectors, taint and toleration. These also we have implemented like this. We can explain. Okay. Okay, and what my plan is, I have already shared the one recording right in the group, how to explain the interview, just first 10 minutes, what projects and all. You just go through that one more time, interview time. So please apply many, December, almost we are done Kubernetes also. Now you can eligible to apply any role. Okay, DevOps, cloud and all. Please start to apply now. Every day you can apply 20, 30 jobs. In Naukri, Google, whatever it is. If you apply, your profile will be chances to shortlist in the January. Clear now? We already done 2025, 3 days only left, 2 days only left, right? So Jan second week onwards, again, operations will resume now. So many calls, there are chances. So please start now. Don't wait. Someone can come and give a job. You have to find out your job. No relatives, no friends. You can find out your job. Clear na? LinkedIn, Naukri, every day. Check what platforms we have. Clear na? Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Then bye. We'll discuss tomorrow. So please join tomorrow 9 a.m. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.